Alright guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. We're going live for the Wyndham Championship. Already have a comment coming in from Jalen. He says he's going with the young lineup. And we'll touch on that in a second here when we get to Yahoo, because on Yahoo, it's really easy to do that. So, you know what, let's just kick it off with the Yahoo plays here real quick. Alright, so Jalen's going with the young lineup, and I think on Yahoo you can definitely do that. DraftKings you can do it too, fine, but on Yahoo it's super easy. Look at the price points here. Victor Hovland, 27. Colin Morikawa, 29. Matthew Wolff, 31. I mean, it's just too easy to fit them all in there. Yes, they'll be popular, but you almost kind of got to play them at those price points. That's kind of one of the things I like about Yahoo is that they're kind of slow to increase salaries, and so you can still play young guns like this and not feel bad about it, I guess, because on DraftKings, they're kind of priced up, and it's kind of harder to get away with it. I mean, you definitely can this week. But, you know, on Yahoo, I definitely like that. So just wanted to touch on that since we had the comment. But let's get into the core plays recap from earlier in the week. All right, so want to touch on, you know, kind of the plays from earlier in the week from the core plays video that we had. I do want to touch on some of the players in the higher end that I kind of skipped over. One of those is going to be Bryant Snedeker. So we know he's just great strokes gained putting. He's a down on raw specialist. He's really great strokes gained total, and he's really good strokes gained approach. He's a former winner at this course and also has a T3 in his other start after that. So he finished first last year, and then in 2016 he had a T3 finish. So I don't know, Sneds I'm starting to get on a little bit more. Mostly on FanDuel and Yahoo because I'm kind of set on DraftKings, but I've ended up in his price range quite a bit on DraftKings, and I'm just kind of fine with it. Same thing kind of for Billy Horschel. I mean, those two are pretty much the same player to me, and Billy Horschel has a T11, T60, and T5 in his last 3 times at this course, so I like him as well. He's a really good staff as well. Those are two players where I just kind of ended up on them quite a bit because of the price range. And, you know, they're the last player into my build. They're the 6th man into my build just because it's easy. There's a lot of value. I ended up on them pretty fine with them. So, yeah, you know, I think he is overpriced, but this is kind of one of those weeks where you can play up for overpriced. So for me, you know, I say this a lot, but it's all about getting 6 for 6 across the cut line. I don't really care if a guy has winning upside. I really care about if they have top 10 upside. And I think Snedeker definitely has top 10 upside and is pretty confident that he's going to be able to make the cut. So if paying up for Snedeker allows you to have more confidence that you're going to get 6 for 6 across the cut line, by all means do that. Because if you get 6 for 6 across the cut line, you're going to be gaining points throughout the whole weekend rather than maybe playing someone like, I don't know, Jordan Spieth, who's a little bit more risky, I guess. But yeah, you know, I could definitely see Snedeker getting a top 10 finish, which is all I really want out of my players. Solid scrub plays for those who need. So yeah, so I don't really care. I'm not really too worried about that narrative of players having to move up due to their FedEx standings. I think they're kind of at that point in their season because they're not clutch players. So if anything, it kind of worries me a little bit more if we're trying to put more emphasis on that. If they're like 125, there's a reason, you know, they are missing clutch putts or, you know, I don't really worry about it too much, but I'm just going off of the same things we've been doing the whole year, looking at course history, looking at stat fits, looking at current form and building the player pool from there. Stefani, I don't like him. I know he has been talked up a little bit. He's kind of one of those players where I don't want to talk you off of it, but I'm not going to talk you into it whatsoever. Another play that I kind of wanted to touch on as well is Ches Reavie. I have him at like 5% ownership. Just once again, I ended up on him right at that price range a couple of times, and I had a little bit too much Neiman, so I played Reavie a little bit. I couldn't get up to Hovland in those ones, so just kind of one thing I want to touch on. He's a really good stat fit. I mean, one of the best stat fits in the field, but he doesn't have the best course history. T37 and then 2 missed cuts, so I don't really like that. But I still really like Charles Howell. I still really like Lucas Glover. Still fine with Adam Hadwin. Going a little bit lower, I am very worried to play Sungjae Im. He's a really good stat fit, and he has rested up quite a bit. I think he should be a fine play, but I am a little bit worried. Scott Piercy, he hasn't been getting talked up as much as I thought he would be. So I do like that. He might be a sneaky play. Got a question about Joel Dahmen. bounce back spot. It definitely could be a bounce back spot for him. This week, though, I just don't see the point in taking the risk in that. There's just plenty of other good plays right around his price range that I just don't see the point in taking the risk in that. I mean, I'll pull it up real quick. Johnson Wagner, great course history. He's a Donald Ross specialist as well. He plays well in Donald Ross courses. He just missed the cut on that graphic there. He would have been the next player out there. So I'd rather go with Wagner, Wes Roach, Tom Hoagie. I mean, the list goes Zach Zucker. Roberto Castro is probably my favorite value play. And you could go up a little bit to someone like Sam Ryder, Nick Taylor. I do want to touch on Nick Taylor. So apparently his clubs were lost at the airport for like the last 2 days. So I guess he didn't get a practice Tuesday or Monday, but he had them yesterday, so he should be fine. But that is a slight worry for me. Yeah, there's just weight. Honestly, I hate this week, but I love it. My player pool, this is the biggest my player pool has been, but that's just because there's so many phenomenal options at like all the price ranges. It kind of makes it hard, but it kind of makes it fun. So this is kind of, I don't know, I like kind of what DraftKings did. They're kind of forcing people to play a bunch of lineups this week, and it's kind of smart on their part. And hopefully, for my sake, I can have a couple of those lineups pop in GPPs. Yeah, so Garnett, I'm glad you asked. Let me pull him up here. All right, so Bryce Garnett here. I think he's going to be a great play for us this week. So he has great recent form, great course history. He's a really good stat fit. And, he's a really good Donald Ross specialist as well. I like the price point. I started getting on Bryce Garnett quite a bit. So, yeah, I was just pretty surprised at that. So Bryce Garnett, not going to be a bad play for us. All right, guys, I'll be right back real quick. Got to grab the charger real quick for the computer, for the laptop. Give me 2 seconds here, and I'll be right back. All right, and we're back just like that. So Sloan too. Roger Sloan I like as well. I think I put up a slide for him, maybe not. Got Castro. We'll talk about Castro real quick since we have him pulled up. So Castro, once again, he's a Donald Ross course specialist. I know Pete Dye redesigned it in 2007, but it's kind of the same as, same as Rocket Mortgage a little bit. But I like Roberto Castro as well. Just at that price point, it's tough for me to avoid him, but also it's hard for me to get to him this week just because there's so many phenomenal options at other price ranges. It's kind of hard to get down to him because he's not the best stat fit, only top 35 in the field, which isn't bad, but still. Great course history, 2 top 30 finishes in his last 2 times out. He has really good recent form, including a made cut at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which was also a Donald Ross course. I haven't projected to finish top 40, which for a value play, it's not too bad. So Cam Smith, got a question about Cam Smith. I'm just not playing him this week. I don't like the price point. Yeah, he has decent course history, T7 miscut and the T18, but I can't pay up for him. I'd rather pay for Charles Howell, rather pay Lucas Glover, and heck, I'd rather play Scott Piercy than Cam Smith. All definitely cheaper, and I think they're just better plays. I don't like the price point for Cam Smith. I think he's honestly priced up like over 1,000 too high this week, so I can't pay for him at that price point. All right, the last one we're going to touch on here, going to be Nick Taylor. I already touched on him slightly with that whole golf club mishap that happened, but his recent forms, it's fine. I didn't change. It's supposed to say course history, not open history. I apologize, but it is correct. So T8, T50, and a miscut at the Wyndham Championship. So he had a T8 last year, and I played him last year when he got the T8 in the lineup. So maybe that's kind of why I like it. But still, Nick Taylor going to be a great play, I think, this week. We do worry about that club situation slightly. Yeah, thoughts on Streelman. So he's definitely low on play that I do have quite a bit of. The only reason why people aren't playing him is because of that T72. That's the only course history he has here in the last 4 years. People just don't like that. They want to see course history to play him, and I'm kind of in that same boat. But he's a really good stat fit, and just the way he's been playing recently, I really like him as a play. He should be able to go out and play well. You know, a top 25 should be what happens for Kevin Streelman this week. Sorry. I was really trying to debate in my cash build whether to play Kevin Streelman or Vaughn Taylor in my cash build, which, saying that out loud, kind of sounds dumb. Like, naturally we should go to Kevin Streelman automatically. But I might go Vaughn Taylor. I like Vaughn Taylor a lot. Doesn't have the best course history, miscut T57, T47, but he's a really good stat fit and playing really good golf. Whenever you're targeting guys that have made over 5 cuts in a row, never a bad thing, and that's the case with Kevin Streelman and Vaughn Taylor, so really not bad. Any love for Martin Kaymer? So he's, once again, one of those players where if you end up on him kind of in your last person in your build, definitely fine with it. That's happened to me quite a bit, especially when I was building from the 8K range. But I'm not going out of my way to get them into my builds. I do have some of them just because that's kind of how this week has worked out, where I'm getting 5 out of 6 of my players in my lineup. And then there's like another one where I just have so much salary left over that I'm forced to either, pay up for someone like Snedeker, Horschel, Reeve, Keimer even, or Sunjay M. So I'm just ending up in this weird price ranges because of the player pool this week, where I'm forced to play some people I typically wouldn't want to. And Keimer is one of those. I don't have that much exposure to him. He's just kind of a fill-in for me this week, so like 5%. But I don't mind him as a play. Yeah, I don't know. So players like Cam Smith, where they kind of get overhyped because of their performances in certain tournaments, are players that I just like to kind of stay away from typically. But if he goes out and plays well, it wouldn't surprise me too much. All right, we got any questions on the DraftKings side? Keep those coming. I'm going to get into FanDuel real quick. All right, let's get a drink, though. All right, so I already touched on this a little bit, but Roger Sloan really keeps catching my eye a lot. I really like the recent form. It's ascending instead of descending, like Peter Molinari, which kind of worries me with Molinari, but Roger Sloan is, I really like the form. The price point's great for him on DraftKings and FanDuel. I think you can definitely play him on FanDuel as well. He's kind of the last player priced low that I'm confident is going to have a good week. You see him priced underneath Garnett, Taylor, both the Taylors. So I think Roger Sloan I really do like as a play. He doesn't have course history here. He did miss the cut here 4 years ago. And he's not the best stat fit, but we're just really looking at that recent form, especially in those weaker tournament fields. Really do like that. Going a little bit lower, Wes Roach. I don't really want to play him on DraftKings just because there's a lot better plays in that range. But I think on FanDuel, I'm fine with that play. He doesn't have course history here. He withdrew the one time he played it. I didn't look at why. I probably should have. I apologize for that. But he's been playing some really good golf recently, so I don't mind it. Nick Taylor, once again, I like him on FanDuel. I like him on Yahoo, even, and I like him on DraftKings. Same thing for Bryce Garnett and Vaughn Taylor. All those plays are going to be great. Bryce Garnett on FanDuel I like as a play at that price point as well. I think Vaughn Taylor might be popular on DraftKings, but I don't think he'll be as popular on FanDuel. So FanDuel, I feel like it's been easier recently, at least, to, I guess, do well in cash. I don't seem to have as much upside on my FanDuel builds, so I don't really know why that is, but it does seem a lot easier to cash in FanDuel than it is for DraftKings. That's just because of the pricing, though. And maybe that's because I'm looking at DraftKings pricing and then going over to FanDuel and realizing the pricing discrepancies and which plays are really easy. That could be why. I just like the contest better on DraftKings, and I also like kind of the user interface better on DraftKings. It's just a better customer experience on DraftKings. It's easier to use and everything like that. But I do like FanDuel. I'm starting to warm up to it a little bit more just because, especially on the PGA DFS side, it just seems a lot easier for me. Any love for Doc Redman? No, once again, that's kind of one of those plays where I don't want to talk you out of it if you're going to play him, but I can't play him this week. He was one of those guys that I looked at for a little bit and just decided, no, I don't like that price point. He had a miscut here last year, so I'd rather just pay down for Russell Knox or pay $100 more for Kyle Stanley or Seb Straka. I'd rather go with Kevin Stroman if we could get up there. Rather go with Vaughn Taylor or Bud Colley rather than Doc Redman. So, I mean, for the AM PM question that you got there, I'll build a few lineups that are just AM and just PM, and I specifically will do that on the showdown slates mostly. So that's kind of how I handle that now. I like that we have showdown slates available, or the 1-round slates. So I'll do that. That's how I'll split up AM and PM. That's kind of how I diversify that nowadays. Any worry about Morikawa? So I do dislike when players are coming off of a win. You don't know kind of what they did on Monday or Sunday night. Monday, were they out partying? Were they out celebrating? I don't know if Morikawa is that type of guy, but they might not be as focused. And yes, I am worried about him on DraftKings returning that value, but we'll pull up Yahoo again just for people that are coming a little bit late. I really like the price point on Colin Morikawa on Yahoo, so if you're wanting to play him, might as well just play him on Yahoo where the price point is really nice. Let's see here. Any other questions here? Going to wrap up in a little bit, but I do want to touch on Patreon page and what we're going to be offering preseason DFS because I'm going to be posting the Hall of Fame game video here shortly. But let's get those questions in. I'm happy to answer them. One player that I do want to touch on real quick while I have it up, I've seen Jason Kokrak kind of get shit on this week a little bit, which kind of worries me, but I also really like it. This is a guy that had a T16 here in 2017, T57 last year. He's only missed one cut this year. It's a really good stat fit. Yes, he isn't the best putter, but other than that, pretty good stats. And it's just been a cut maker this whole year at 8K. I do like him as a play. I like that people are talking down on him this week rather than talking him up. It kind of seems that same way with Scott Piercy. So those are two plays where I might have to increase my ownership on them. Real quick, let's talk about some of my favorite GPP plays. Russell Knox, Kyle Stanley, Seb Straka. I don't love Wyndham Clark or Troy Merritt, but I could definitely see those two. If they're playing well, they could go out and get a top 10. Oh, Colin Morikawa's not legal to drink. He's not partying. Okay, he's not partying at bars. He might be partying with family, with friends. But no, I get what you're saying. It's you just don't know what those players' attitude is. I did like Matthew Wolf's quote. I think after his victory, he was like, "Oh, gonna pop open some soda," or I don't know, something like that. It's kind of a funny quote by him because he's like only 20. Sabatini, he's fine. T57, T4, decent stat fit. He has been solid this whole year. I think with the thing with Sabatini is he's priced up slightly too much. Where once again, I'd just rather play Charles Howell or Lucas Glover, or even drop down to Scott Piercy for me personally. But once again, if you're ending up in that price range, perfectly fine with it as the last player into your build. Not going out of my way to get him into my build. So, all right, but real quick, touched on the Patreon page. So as you guys know, cashing over 80% of our full tournament field events. Been a really good week. So this is kind of the last week for that. But after that, we're going to be including the preseason DFS content into the Patreon page, PGA DFS membership, up until the new PGA DFS season starts. Okay? With this, you guys will get the player pool, top 15 plays, and kind of our thoughts for GPP lineups on Yahoo, on FanDuel, and stuff like that. I do not do NASCAR. It's not for me. And also, I just like to focus on PGA. I like to focus on NFL. That way I'm, able to provide the best advice as possible. No love for him. I'm sorry. I saw that question come up twice there, Mike. So no love. I'm pretty much set on my player pool now. Maybe I'll have to look and see why that question came up twice here. Maybe I'll have to rethink that. I'll put that in the comment section if I see something a little bit different there. All right, but we're going to be wrapping up here. So thanks for watching, guys. Please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. And as always, let's keep cashing. But check out that Hall of Fame game preseason DFS video that I'm about to drop here today as well. Thank you, and have a good day. Let's keep cashing.